this class. That's yeah. Well, this chapter do require some hard working from you guys and maybe from myself too. And so because one thing is a very important chapter, another is a very useful chapter of knowledge you learn in the future when you work for most companies, I would say. Okay, so here is the learning objective. There's a lot of things we will learn through the chapter 3 forecasting. So we will list features that's true for almost all forecasts. Like for example, we know one truth for forecast is every forecast is wrong. Every forecast is wrong. Because we are human nature, we can't guess 100% correct forecast. If we know that, well, you are like witch. My daughter always talk about witch in her age. She even said, I'm a witch. I said, no, I'm a male. I can't be a witch. But yeah, maybe she said, maybe you are a female witch. You pretending to be a male. Anyway, so her logic is very interesting. So, but every forecast is wrong. Every forecast. But the wrong doesn't mean it's not useful, right? 99% accuracy is very different with like 1% accuracy, right? You have 99% accuracy, even it's wrong, right? You make a forecast, we will have 100 unit sales tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's 99. That's okay. You have one left over. Not a big money, right? But if your forecast is very wrong, then different story. Well, why forecast is not wrong? I probably already explained a little bit. Elements of a good forecast. Good forecast, I want to ask you, what do you think if you say this forecast is good? What's the criteria you are saying, okay, this is a good forecast? How do you define good forecast?
If you have data to back it up, you know, like you have like research and experiments and whatnot.
Jeans, right? Your name?
Reese.
Reese, sorry. That's a good point. Data to prove that. Definitely we need to data to measure our performance. Anything else? Any other criteria in your opinion?
Current trends. You have to, I mean, there's for the data he's talking about too, but when you need that current trend, knowing what's popular, whether or not, and seasonal, it can be seasonal.
That's right. Yeah, we'll talk about the measurement of good forecast. Yeah. Outline the step in the forecast process. Well, I will share my experience when I do the real consulting job, how we make the forecast. Well, it's our projects usually goes 1 year. 1 year, just for forecast, 1 year. Work 8 hours per day at least. Just forecast. Because the data we deal with is millions or 10 million rows, thousands columns. That's a table we are dealing with that. You name it. But that's just one country or one region. I'm talking about North America or just US. When we expand globally, like Indian projects, another year. China, another year. All we done, PhD, master, we are just doing the forecast for 1 year. So it can be huge, but definitely in this class, in your homework, I doubt like maybe 1 hour. That's for each question. Summarize forecast errors and use summaries to make decisions. We'll describe 4 qualitative forecast techniques. Well, we will focus on quantitative one, but we'll also introduce this qualitative forecast. And then we'll go to a lot of forecasting model, quantitative model. First one, naive model. Second, moving average. Third, weighted moving average. Fourth, exponential smoothing. Fifth, linear trend. Sixth, trend adjust exponential smoothing. Right. And they didn't mention that. Okay. 7, seasonal relative. Seasonality, how to handle. 8, regression and correlation coefficients. That's 8. Right. I forgot. I mentioned 10, but in fact it's just 8. Right? Not too bad. Finally, we need to learn how to construct the control chart. After you make the forecast, you still need to monitor. Well, that's why I'll share my experience with you guys. Okay, after 1 year you finish the project go live. We told you go live, which means okay, user begin to use your data. Begin to use the data every day, make the forecast, receive a forecast every day, they trust your data. But you have to monitor. After half a year, users say, oh, you guys' performance is much worse than half a year ago. I will stop the contract. Then you have big trouble, right? So you have to keep monitoring on your forecast performance. Finally, we'll describe some key factors and trade-offs to consider when choosing a forecast technique. One thing I can guarantee you is that we will go through a lot of models in this chapter, but I will give you plenty of time to have example on most models in the class. We'll spend time together individually. I will walk around to make sure everybody know how to get the forecast results given some specific model, right? So don't worry about that. Definition: forecast is a statement about future value of a variable of interest. Okay, I want you to pay attention here. First, forecast is about variable. If a deterministic thing, well, we don't need to forecast, right? Like we live on Earth. Well, probably after 10 years ago, most likely we still live on Earth. So that things is not a variable. Well, generally speaking, in this time period, it's not a variable. But even it's a variable, it must be your interest. Otherwise, you don't spend energy or time on making the forecast, right? If you don't care about the weather, well, that's you don't have to look at weather forecast. If you don't care, okay, what's the final grade Kayla will have? You don't make her forecast, right? But she probably will make a forecast because that's very critical for you. So, two things, right? Forecast is always about the variable, right? Second, the variable you must have interest in your business model. We're talking about business, right? That's, for example, a very popular forecast is demand forecast for all business. Because we are very interested in our future demand. That can determine our financial budgets, determine our investments on machines, determine human resource management, what we want to have, or we have to lay off people. So demand forecasting is one of the most important forecasts. Almost every organization are interested. UNCP the same. We spend a lot of time. We have a department. Some people do that to forecast the enrollments next year, retention rates. Well, those are the numbers that's high level legislation. Those they will look at that. Well, you want to get the forecast accurate, then you can get the fund from states. Well, but if your forecast is very wrong, off the table, then you have to return the fund to the states. That's a big trouble, right? You don't want to do that. As a beginning, you want to make the forecast, okay, next year enrollments as accurate as possible. So you can see, even for non-profit organization like UNC Pembroke, still we have to make forecasts. We make a forecast about such things like weather, demand, resource available, right? How many people we will have next week, right? Forecasts are important to making informed decisions. Two important aspects. Right? First one, we'll talk about demand. What is the expected level of demand? Usually the level of demand may be a function of some structural variations such as trend or seasonal variations. Second aspect about accuracy, we'll talk in the detail very soon, is related to the potential size of forecast error. How can we use the forecast? Well, generally, if we plan the system, we generally use very long range plans. For example, product design, such as location planning, well, capacity planning, that's a long-term decision. So that's we rely on long-term forecasts, like 1 year, 5 years, 10 years later, which we understand is can't be very accurate because it's far, far, far away from now. Then you use some technicals, maybe some quantitative method to make the forecast. Plan the use of the system will generally involve short-term or medium-range forecasting. Well, many departments use that short-term forecast, such as inventory management, right? Purchasing, right? Budgeting, scheduling. You don't need the forecast after 1 year because you need a forecast 2 weeks later. Well, that's enough for you to change your inventory, change your purchase order, or schedule your employee. 2 weeks, 1 month is enough. Okay, I need to drink some water before I go through this slide. Because these slides will spend a lot of time. Why? Well, elementary school student can read that in 1 minute, right? Why we need to spend a lot of time? First, I want to mention is that, okay, textbook usually have a lot of very, very useful points you can use that industry. But unfortunately, when we read the textbook, I was a student before, right? We don't know what is the key points. We read all textbook. Maybe you just skip all the textbook. But we don't know, okay, which slide, which paragraph is really useful, which sentence is really related to our future job. Here it is. Well, if I never work for consulting job, before I join UNC Pampo, I will only spend like 2 minutes on these slides. Just read them. Remember that? We'll have exam, maybe have this something like that. That's all. But after I spent several years in the supply chain consulting doing the forecast, I realized, okay, this one has a lot of information. You need to remember, you need to understand why it is important and how we can use this information to improve our forecast without any investments, in fact. The first feature, well, when we use any technique or any model to make our forecast, we must have the assumption that some underlying causal system that exists in the past will persist in the future. What does this mean? Anybody want to explain that sentence to us? The first one? Too hard to explain?
History repeats itself, basically, in the.
Yeah. That's very good explanation. Much better explanation than my explanation. Well, I will explain in a math way. Basically speaking is that, okay, let's say you build some model. You build any model. You can say like y equal to x plus, let's say t. T plus 2. So t is the time period. So week 1, week 2, week 4, week 3, week 4, blah blah. So that's very simple model for make your demand forecast, right? Each week your demand is just the week number plus 2. Let's say you build this model based on historical data, or you find okay that they have such a strange relationship, very strange relationship between the demand and the time series, right? The time. We definitely want to use this model to make our forecast. But if you want to use that, you must satisfy this assumption. Okay, this relationship will be still true in next week, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever you want to forecast, like 3 months later. Anything happen to significantly change the relationship means you have to reconsider your forecast model. For example, if 2 weeks later we will have a big promotion on this product, can we still trust this model? Can we? If we have promotion, discounts on this product, can we still use this model? No, right? Because we know that, okay, it will jump. The demand will jump dramatically 2 weeks later. Right? If we still use this model, we make mistake. Similarly, if we have to increase our price 2 weeks later, we can't trust this model. Any big thing happen, for example, we change our layout, it's big thing. You have to reevaluate this forecast model. So forecasting definitely can change time by time, right? Forecast method. But for very stable products, okay, those big things happen, well, we can kind of trust this model for a long time. Second, everybody knows forecasts are not perfect. Every forecast is wrong. Well, now we'll spend a lot of time on third bullet. Okay, I will explain that in detail, but first let's read it. Forecasts for groups of items are more accurate than those for individual items. I want somebody to give us some example, maybe just one example that's related to this bullet. Forecasts for group of items are more accurate than those of individual items. Alan?
Basically, where you're looking for an example, like soap. If you have one type of soap, it's one brand, one kind, it may lose its popularity, but soap in general, everybody needs it. So the group of things is going to be, the forecast numbers for that are easier to maintain than it is for one separate item that may lose or whatever its popularity.
Very good. Do you guys agree with what Alan said, or you have different opinion? Yeah, that's a very good example. In fact, I think I can quit the teacher's job very soon. Yeah, so basically it's that, like, Alan has a very good example, right? Soap, like shampoo, the same thing, right? For example, when you go to shop in the Walmart shampoo, especially for boys, I would assume that most of you guys are not picky on the brand of shampoo, right? You just pick up, okay, maybe it's on sale, maybe that's his first brand come to your eyes, that's what pick that. So that means, okay, for this soap, shampoo, this product, the demand for each individual brand can vary a lot, day by day, week by week, right? Especially for the customer like us, don't care too much. So I just use whatever shampoo my wife bought for me. I never complain. So, but this creates problem for our forecast, right? If you say I need the head and shoulder, like a moisture style shampoo, how many I need to order? Well, it's troublemaking. I don't know. I mean, that's last week 20 sales, 2 weeks ago 100, 3 weeks ago 50. You can see that the fluctuation is huge. But if you want to make good forecast for each individual shampoos, you are going to a very hard problem or projects, right? On the other hand, you should tell your manager, or maybe yourself or your employee, them to understand that, okay, it's okay if our purchase of head and shoulder shampoo is very different with real demand. We won't lose demand for most likely. If we are short, that's okay. Customer will go to Pantene's, right? Other Dove's, right? Other brand shampoo. They will still stick to Walmart, right? So what we should do? Instead of vary each individual item's forecast, which will time consuming, a lot of investments, a lot of efforts, focus on the group. Focus on the group. Okay, the group of shampoo. You think, okay, you believe or you have a test, they can replace each other easily. Customer has very neutral opinion on those brands. Then you group them together. Even one product is out of stock, it's most likely won't affect your sales. That's the most important thing you care, right? Customers stay here, buy the shampoo from us. Right? So that's key points. Well, but this is not easy. Think about that. First, you have to realize that. Probably now everybody realize, okay, in the future, your boss give you 100 items to make forecast. You say, oh, I quit the job. No, before you quit the job, you think about, okay, maybe there's 3 groups of these 100 items. You group together, you only need to make 3 forecasts, right? That's the first thing you need to know. Second, it's not easy. Why? Group of items. Who will define this group? It's your job, or maybe your company already did that. You need to know, okay, why? Okay, this can all shampoos in the same group? Can all soaps in the same group? Probably not. There's some special soap, well, they shouldn't be. They're very specialized for some like sensitive skin people or something like that. They don't have any choice. They have to go to that brand, right? But for some others, you think, okay, they're easy to replace. Then you can group them together. Right? For example, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me, okay, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, whether they're replaceable? It depends, right? It depends on different customer preference. But it's also different country. I know, man, like 20 years ago when I was in China, I don't care. Right? As long as it's soda, I drink all of it, right? So, but nowadays, probably I do care, right? What's flavor of soda, even soda. So it really depends on your situation, okay, on your background, and then you need to make the group. And remember, this group can change. Or even that's some item belong to this group 2 years ago. When this brand continue to promote their image, they become a niche brand. Okay, people only just for this brand. Then you should take this brand out from this group because it's not replaceable by other brands. Clear? So to define a group is very, very tricky. Well, I can't teach you guys how to do that. Usually they use some historical data to show, okay, that's the, but as long as the summation of the demand is very stable, and probably you can group those items together. Right? Every week summation of demand. Second tricky part for this one is that, okay, we know that, and I know you guys know, okay, we make the group forecast is much better. Okay, let's do that. Soaps, right? Soaps. Okay, you make a forecast. Let's say we have 10 brand. No, let's make your life easy. Just 3 brand. Right? What's the soap brand? Dove? Anything else?
Campbell.
Campbell? Oh yeah, Campbell.
Dial.
That one?
We got a confusion. Soap and soup.
Oh, you okay.
It's soap.
That's fine.
And we got
That's my problem. I say soap. I write down the soup. I know about soups. I like soup better. I really like soups better.
Yeah, there is a brand.
You like soups better, right? Than soaps?
So,
Okay, Campbell.
okay, we'll go that way.
And what else?
What is it? First,
Prego?
Progresso.
Progresso.
There you
Oh,
go.
how do you spell that? Pro.
P-R-O-G-R-E-S-S-O.
Okay, Progress. Any other brand?
Great value.
Grace Value. That's a Walmart's brand. Okay, so that's Walmart.
Okay.
I know this brand. I like your idea. Yeah. I know this brand for every product, like Grace Value. I also have Harris brand, right? Food Lion brand for everything. Okay, let's say you only have these three products. You know they're in the same group. Let's say you already know. Okay, very sure they can replace to each other. Okay, next week you make the forecast. So the demand, I mean the group demand, you make the forecast is 100 units. You can't give this forecast to the purchase department or inventory. Say, okay, we have these three products, total demand 100. What should I do? How much I need to order? This from three different companies. I will decide exact number you have to order. Even you told me, okay, it's hard to decide individual items quantity to order or to keep in inventory. You still have to give to me. Otherwise, I can order 100 Campbell. This is not a smart decision. Even you still be in the same group, right? What should we do? What can we do? To decide, still we have finally. We have to decide individual levels forecast quantity. How can we do that?
Would you look at the sales of each?
Yes, historical data, right? You look at the historical data. Historical demand for each brand, very simple. You just calculate percentage, right? Doesn't involve to any model we have mentioned here. Those models you will spend a lot of time. Just calculate percentage, right? But you have to determine, okay, how far you should go back, like 10 weeks, okay, 10 months, or just 3 weeks, or you think, okay, that's the time period you should refer to. And then simply calculate the percentage of weight for each product within the group. Then you use this 100 is group forecast to times like 30% here, 30% second, like Walmart's brand, so 40% here. Then the forecast is very easy, right? The forecast is 30, 30, 40. Again, we know that these forecasts can be very wrong, individual level. But we are very confident this should be accurate. And we are confident using this simple method, it should be very similar to the trend, okay, in the future. So this will save you a lot of time with very similar results. You still have good forecast. You won't lose a lot of customers. But think about if you go to individual level, it can kill you. But if you have your own business, okay, for example, you are doing the eBay, well, you can't have, when your business expands, you can't have 100 products. If you don't know this trick, it will make you a headache to try to make good forecast for each product. That will definitely kill you, right?
So, are those percentages like what we expect to sell of each? Or?
Yeah, definitely. We expect. So, but how can we expect? Based on historical data. Usually it's based on historical data, right? But we still have this assumption, this historical data will have the same trend in the future. No promotion on any of the products, no discounts, no big price on any product. Otherwise, we have to change this percentage. So that's the trick of the third bullet. I think we'll spend 10 minutes on this one. Hope this doesn't waste your time, right? Hope everybody remember, okay, when you work for any project, for any company, when you look at their forecast, if you manage to throw like 1,000 items, so you make the forecast, Michael, say, you can either choose to quit the job, right? You can either choose to persuade your manager, we should group the item first, then make the forecast. But when you persuade the manager, you should know why. Tell the manager, okay, if we do that, we save time, we save energy, we can do some other important thing, but we won't lose customer. Our profit level will be very similar. That's the key point, right? Question, comments on the third bullet? Huh? I learned that not just from the textbook. When we work for Unilever product, we do the exact same thing. In their big table, I told you the table size is like multi-million rows. Only Oracle can handle that because Excel can't handle that data sets too big. Multi-million rows, there's like 100 columns. The column definitely have like item number, right? Like, so like this. I don't know that. A, B, C, there's item number. But we require the Unilever Cloud to provide the group number. They already did that. They say, okay, this ABC belong to group 1. I don't understand group. I don't need to understand the group as long as they're in the group. Well, I can understand if I go deeper to say, okay, it belongs to the soups or soaps, right? But basically speaking, we require them to provide this information. So when we make a forecast, we make 2 forecasts. First forecast is a group forecast based on group number. Well, then thousands or 10,000 items can only divide into like hundreds of groups. Then we make the forecast. Secondly, we still make the individual level forecast for them. We still do that because we have software, right? So just run the model, right? But I can tell you, our customer, most likely, they only use our group forecast. I think they will do the similar thing here by themselves, right? Guess the weights and then decompose the group forecast into individual one. That's what they did. Because they know group forecast is more accurate, right? So individual level is hard, right? So that's true for most companies. For Fortune 500 company, probably they have some people to handle how to define a group. You don't worry about, you know that's group. But if you work for middle-sized, small-sized company, probably that's your job. If your boss asking you to do the forecast, your job first, if there are so many items, find the correct group decision for those items, right? The fourth one, forecast accuracy decreases as forecast horizon increases. Anybody can explain this to us?
Well,
Rings?
I think it's like it's kind of easy to predict it's easier to predict like what demand for a product will be like a year from now rather than 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And because
That's exactly very simple, right? So usually it's like let's talk about those years. In industry, year is too long, right?
okay, wow.
When you make the forecast of next week, it's much easier. You make the forecast for 3 weeks later. Well, most likely you should have a better accuracy. Right? I always bluff to all my students. I say I'm a weatherman. In fact, I'm very good at weather forecasts. You believe me? 1 second later, it's still sunny. That's the forecast. Right? My accuracy probably like close to 100%. Whatever happen now, I say 1 second later is still the same. That's my forecast. Is that useful? Useless, right? Who can guess an umbrella in 1 second, right? If you really change. But you know this idea, right? If we make a real close forecast, maybe we don't need a lot of longitude techniques. We can already get a good forecast, right? But if you tell me to make a forecast 2 weeks later, weatherman can do that. I can't do that. I need to go to weather.com, right? Otherwise, I have no idea what's happened 2 weeks later. This do require professional skills and knowledge. So that's the key point. So first, you know that if you have a short-term forecast, okay, it's easy. It save your time, save your energy, save a lot of things, right? You didn't need to go to very technical things sometimes. Why is it useful for companies, for industries? That this useful? I know you must know Charles' forecast is useless. 1 second later, weather is totally useless. Then how can we use this trick to help us when we work for projects or different organizations? Can we use this trick?
Can use it by forecasting how much a project may cost and what the benefits of it would be.
Mm-hmm. So you use the cost analysis for these projects? Yeah, definitely, I agree. Okay, at first I want to ask you guys before we talk about how we can use this in the industry. Forecast. Which departments will use our forecast results? Purchasing. Kayla said purchasing. Very good.
Marketing?
Marketing, yeah, definitely. Any other functions or department will use our scheduling, right?
Production.
Inventory management, production, right? Or transportation management, how many trucks, how many drivers. You can say our forecast results are used almost in every department or function in the organization. I can tell you that's true. we use that. Even UNC Pembroke, everybody's curious about, okay, what's the expected enrollments next fall? Because we have NC promise, we have no idea, or very little idea. Somebody say like only increase 1,000, so somebody say the first year increase 2,000. Huge difference, right? If you say 1,000, maybe we can have 2,000. I don't know how we can handle that, but so that's forecasting. It's really hard. It's really hard, but it's very important for all other functional departments. But every department, every function, use the forecast in a different way. For example, if RINS is in the location planning group, so you have to decide, okay, whether we need to set another Walmart store in Pembroke, then the forecast should be long-term forecast. That does not make any sense. You give me the next week's demand, right? That's nothing to do with whether we want to build another site or Walmart here. You have to give me 5 years, even maybe 10 years demand forecast. That's you. Let's Kayla work project, as you mentioned, right? Then what do you think the forecast? How long you need the forecast? Like 1 year later? Or 3 months later? Or even shorter? Shorter, right? Usually when you make a purchase, it depends on our supply. If our supply is in China, or most likely you have to order like 1 month, even longer before. But if our supply is in South Carolina, maybe 3 days is enough, right? But usually compared to location decision, it's a short-term forecast, right? We only need like, let's say 2 weeks to make our forecast. What about Joseph? You work for human resource, okay? You are the operation manager to schedule employee. You have to schedule employee based on the forecast, right? What do you think? How many weeks, or how many months you need to know the forecast results in advance? No idea? Anybody want to help Joseph for the scheduling part?
Like if you know like a big holiday is coming up and say you work like in retail,
Mhm.
you gotta schedule more based off historical
Mhm.
data.
Yeah, but I mean, how far away you should know that in advance, like 2 weeks, like you say, like 3 weeks, or 1 month before. I know it's really depends on company. What's about your idea, Anna? How long we need to know that before we can schedule the employee?
When I did my internship with Amazon, the managers did 21 days.
21 days, right? That's Amazon policy. I didn't know the policy in Amazon. I was having internship in Amazon too. I work every day. Well, yeah, right. The very interesting. When I work in Amazon in Kentucky at that time, well, in the summer I was doing the summer internship during my PhD stuff. So, well, independent day, everybody's off. Everybody know. I don't know because I'm an intern. I'm supposed to go. So I'm the only one go to that site on independent day. The whole warehouse shut down, like 1,000 people were there on independent. I said, what's happened? Okay, people say, today is independent day. What do you expect? I say, I think I'm the slave. I have to work every day. So, but anyway, I remember that day because after I find this exciting news, the site was closed. I went to the movie theater to watch Transformer 1. I remember that scene, Transformer 1. But Transformer 5 really. 4 really sucks. So, but anyway, that's different. So, but Transformer 1 was a fantastic movie. I would think so. So like with a different company have different point, but 21 is 3 weeks. So if you are a manager, you need forecast. You need to give me the forecast 3 weeks later. I can use. Well, but for Kayla, maybe 2 weeks is fine for you, right? But for RINS, we need 1 year or 2 years in advance. That makes huge difference from forecast accuracy. You know that, right? Your forecast accuracy should be worse than Kayla's because you have 3 weeks advance notice. You need that, right? Well, you only need 2 weeks. Well, you will get better forecast from me. I do the forecast for everybody, right? You will automatically get much better forecast to use. So your decision should be more accurate than her decision because you use a short-term forecast. Well, this poor guy's decision can be very poor because he's using the 1 year or 5 years later forecast. We can't guarantee I can provide a good forecast for you, right? So that's the problem. How we can use this knowledge or these tricks? We talk about a lot. We know that Kayla, different people use a different time to make their decision. Is that useful for company? After we realize that? Not useful? It is useful, right? It is very useful. Can save you million dollars. I can tell you why it's useful. Okay, so when we did the projects for all our clients, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Kraft, Kimberly-Clark, Campbell Soup, Nestle, Shell, we provide a forecast up to 13 weeks. So it's 3 months, right? 13 times 7 is 91, so it's about 3 months. So that means for every clients, for every product, we make a forecast about what's happened next week, 2 weeks later, until 13 weeks later. That's the results we give to them, okay, every weekend. So we run our engine on like Friday until it's finished, gets the result on Saturday. So everybody gets the Saturday, gets the result from next Monday until 13 weeks later. So everybody has the results, everybody. But our clients, they use different time horizon, call it time horizon. Because Amazon, right? They're not our client, they're even better than us. so Amazon, they need 3 weeks. So they can't use the first 2 weeks forecast because they knows enough time to react, right, as a manager. But the purchase or some company, they use 2 weeks. You see the difference? Well, you invest the same money to sign a similar contracts with us, consulting company or whatever, do the project. Automatically, because she only needed 2 weeks to react, to make the plan, she gets better results, which means she will save a lot of cost, more cost than you can save. Right? You know that among all the clients we have mentioned, those big names, which company use the shortest time horizon forecast? Can you give me a guess? It's a very famous company. Reacts so fast. That's the only company use week 1 data. That means Saturday they get the results. They plan for what's happened next Monday.
You say Shell was one of your companies?
No, Xiong is, but those Shell.
Sure.
It's American brand. The Shell is also American brand. it's a really American brand. Headquarters in Ohio. You know this company? Cincinnati, Ohio. The headquarters. Nobody know that?
Is it a potato company?
No. Yeah, Procter & Gamble. P&G.
Oh yeah, they came from.
Yeah. P&G, at least when I was leaving at that time, was the only client who use a week 1 data. I can guarantee it's not all department in P&G can use week 1 because Saturdays, while for scheduling, you can't call every employee, oh, you have to work, come to sites on Monday, right? It doesn't work. But they do have some departments, they use our week 1 data. All other clients, like P&G's competitor, Unilever, Kraft, Kimberly-Clark, the earliest time horizon they use is week 2. Some companies use week 3, week 4. Some companies tell us, pay attention to week 7. That's what we use. Well, I think you waste your investments if you use our week 7 forecast, right? We can't guarantee good result. I can tell you, for example, week 1, we can guess the forecast accuracy like 80%. Week 7 is like 50%. Well, that's normal, right? No matter how advanced technology you use, you know that. Well, short forecast is much more accurate than long term. But if you choose to week 7, okay, congratulations, you are keeping losing money in this industry compared to your competitors. Then the story tells us what? To use these 4 bullets, it's not just your forecast responsibility, it's the whole organization. Okay, for example, Alan is providing forecast for us. Alan, you should keep challenging Caleb. Why you can only use week 2 forecast? Why you can't switch to week 1? Can you do that? You work with your supplier closely. You find maybe a better supplier can react faster. Then we use week 1 forecast, which will make your purchase order more accurate, save a lot of money. Similar for the human resource. Can we change the policy? Can we only give 2 weeks notice for any sick day or something like that? Not sick day, okay, like vacation application. If we can implement that, save a lot of money because we have much better forecast. Similarly, transportation, scheduling, a lot of other things, same thing. If some department, some function can use the short-term forecast, we can guarantee without any further investment, they will have a much better plan on whatever department you are working with. But definitely that's a constraint. For example, Kayla said, my supplies in China, there's no way. If you give me 1 week, or they have to use FedEx to send to us. It's too expensive, right? So we need at least 2 weeks. I understand. Well, that's your constraints. You push as hard as you can to use the shortest time horizon forecast. But you remember, you must observe that in industry, many companies, they're too big to change. The manager will tell you, okay, we use that for 10 years, or 7 weeks, why nobody change. That's not a reasonable excuse. Let's say you don't change, because you 10 years doesn't mean it's correct, right? You have, if you are working forecasting or operation managers, you should know that, okay, you can push very hard on this poor person, Alan, to make better forecast. But you can push a little bit on other department, use the forecast. You say, okay, you use a shorter horizon forecast. Instead of 3 weeks, just 2 weeks, or 2.5 weeks even. You can automatically get a better result from Alan, right? So that's, right, the benefits without any further investments. Keep that in mind. It can save you a lot of money, right? Huge money. Right? Okay, I think we finally finished these slides. Right? I hope you will remember, okay, Charles is a boring guy, talk about these slides for half an hour right, in the future. I hope some technical we learn here, sharing with my working experience, you'll realize, okay, yes, this is just in the textbook, but so useful in industry. Every forecast is wrong. Well, because we have random variation, well, always some residual error, and even there's other factors has been accounted for. And we want to still have some good forecasts, or even every forecast is wrong. But the forecast should be timely. For example, okay, our company, my previous company provided forecast results even for Pro and Gamble. You can't tell them on Sunday evening. So what's happened 4 hours later? That it's useless. Well, we run our engine on Friday, we get the result on Saturday. At least give you 2 days. Even for Pro and Gamble, they can use the result somehow, right? Or if you have a fantastic algorithm, but you say, okay, I need to run the model 1 week to get the result. I don't think it's a good model. At least your server, your computer need to be upgraded. Otherwise, it's not timely. Should be accurate, right? Should be. Reliable? That means, okay, even with some change for the industry, for the product, you still have a get okay forecast compared to maybe fantastic forecasts before. Right? Should be expressed in meaningful units. That's very important because it's a common mistake to make or miscommunication in industry. So when we say soups, right, we say, okay, the demand forecast is 100 units. That's my example given to you guys 20 minutes ago. In fact, this is very ambiguous. What does 100 units mean, soups? Right? Especially, let's think about soda. You say 100 Coca-Cola. What does this mean? Well, it can be that big. It can be that small. It can be a pack with 12 Coca-Colas, right? That's 100. This can have a lot of different sizes, Coke, right? So when you talk about 100, what does this mean? So in the company, usually when we do the consulting, they have that one column tell us, okay, oh, that's our, let's say that's the sales data last week. They will tell us UOM. Anybody know what does UOM mean? No? Very good. Units of measurements. Right. So this UOM will tell you it's either like units, maybe, or pallets, or some package. That's why we need more information about how big of the package. But this will tell us, okay, that's this number mean. Otherwise, we can easily make mistake because if we assume, okay, that's just the like large size in McDonald's, that's the Coke we talk about. Well, we can easily mistake. The size can be very, very different, right? So that's the thing you should pay attention. Should be in writing. Nowadays, most likely in software, it's in computer. Basically, you can see that, right? Hopefully, technical should be simple to understand and use. I would have different opinion on these points. Well, idea is true, the simpler the better, but in reality, for example, Unilever, Shell, they help us do their consulting. It's not because we provide simple technicals. If we provide simple technical, why my previous company has so many PhD and master to do the job? They can go to the high school to do the job, right? So in reality, in top companies, their technical very complex. Amazon, very, very complex algorithm for forecast. Amazon is a leading company in forecasting. I worked in Amazon for doing forecast before. Very complex, very accurate. But if you are doing small business, middle-sized company, that's right. Well, you have to explain to your manager, right, to your client. That's how we get that. But if you are doing big business, okay, high level, oh, you have to use some complex technicals. That's for sure. Cost effective, it really depends. It's really depends on cost. It really depends on your investments and your benefits, right? So if you invest like $1,000, you wouldn't expect your benefits like $1 million, right? But if you invest $1 million, definitely your expectation of the return is multi-million dollars. Like our previous client, they definitely invest $1 million on the projects. I can tell you that. Let's think about it. My company. How much they charge to our clients for consultants? It's like $100 per hour. That's our price. $100. I didn't get this one from my company. Right? That's my company charge our clients $100. So you think about it, $100. So it's like 40 hours per week. So it's $4,000 per week. Right? I think it's more than 100. Let's just say that. And usually we work 50 hours per week, so that's $5,000. So it's $20,000 per month, like $240,000 per year for one consultant. And I tell you, I only get 1/3 of the money they charge for our clients. Unfortunately, that's probably the reason I left the company. So, but anyway, they have to pay us one consultant $240,000 per year. Usually we have like 3 consultants working on one project for 1 year before the project can go live. You can think about it. That's about $700,000 invest just on the labor and consultants. We don't talk about the commission fee, license fee of our software. That's ongoing, right? Even the project go live, they still pay license fee every year. But when we talk about just consultants, 3 consultants in 1 year projects, is almost $1 million investment, almost $1 million, before they can show any results. But this can be only done by, for example, you enable this level, right? Because small company, why you want to invest so much money on this just single forecasting project? But when we talk about cost effective, I would say you want to talk about the cost effective is a ratio of your investment and your return. Unilever, for example, they are smart companies. When they invest $1 million on the project, that means they get much more than $1 million. If you're a small company, you also need to balance that, right? You invest $10,000, you definitely need to get much more than $10,000 back. Otherwise, right, it's not very smart. Okay, so that's all the content we covered today. Hard for this chapter? Or still okay? Okay. See you guys next week.